Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the weekly MMA Cycles Market Update. Today is the 6th of March, 2024, and this is Gianni DePoce, your host. I'm excited to review some charts with you today because we've seen new all-time highs in both Bitcoin and in gold in the past week. Gold actually just hit its new all-time high today. So let's go ahead and look at some charts. We're going to start off with the Dow Jones. We started off this week with a square signature between Venus and Uranus, and that's a notorious aspect for breakouts. Venus rules stocks, currencies. Uranus rules breakouts, rules tech. And, instead of seeing a new all-time high in the Dow here, we actually fell into a low, and this could be one of significance. We gapped up today, holding the gains. We had an ADP employment report that was a little bit below estimates, but did still show growth. Tomorrow we have some, or actually on Friday, we have some key unemployment numbers as well as some testimony from Jerome Powell in front of Congress. But you look at the NASDAQ here, we did have a big gap down yesterday, but rebounded quickly on that. I don't think that the primary cycle has culminated yet in the NASDAQ, but we're still seeing strength from semiconductor stocks and anything related to AI. So this is still a bull market and should be treated as such, going into that Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in April. We could be on the precipice of a full-blown mania and, could lead to much higher stock prices before then. I would prefer to see a little bit of a correction over the next couple of weeks, but what I want and what the market ends up doing doesn't really have bearing on one another. Let's go ahead and take a look at Bitcoin. So that's capturing the headlines. We hit a new all-time high yesterday, taking out the high from 2021, and it was a pretty big sell-off, but we're seeing a recovery here already. So even if we just go sideways for a few weeks and don't make a new high, that would be enough to qualify as a low rather. But looking ahead into the next few days, we have a square between Mars and Uranus on the 9th, the same day that the sun will form a sextile to Uranus. So, I don't think the volatility is necessarily going away yet. And then on the 11th, we have Venus changing signs going into Pisces. And we know that Venus is a very important planet when it comes to cryptocurrencies. So that's something to keep an eye on because Venus in Aquarius has been so bullish for crypto, but that energy is going to shift on the 11th. Let's go ahead and take a look at Ethereum because that already took out yesterday's high. It continues to boom higher. Ethereum is in a newer 15-month cycle, so this outperformance is to be expected, most welcomed, and I think it's going to continue. If it's a new all-time high, great. It may very well do so before we see a substantial pullback in the crypto space. Let's go ahead and take a look at gold GLD here. So looking at this ETF because spot price has not updated per today's price action on the close. So yeah, it's a new all-time high in GLD. I think it did reflect in this as well. So it's looking bullish. And, in terms of upside targets for gold, wouldn't be surprised to see, 2,500, 3,000 at some point this year. But silver also needs to start participating. A good rally today. Saw some selling yesterday. Keeps pushing to the upside. We're in new cycles here. So if silver can start to clear the $25 level on its spot chart, look out above because it could be a very bullish market going into this year. I want to take a look at the interest rate on the 10-year Treasury note because it keeps coming down. I do think we're in a new primary cycle in bonds. And, ultimately it comes down to whether or not the Fed's going to cut rates this year. I think that they will, probably in June. The closer we get to that Jupiter-Saturn square, I think the better in terms of an economic slowdown and a catalyst to actually cut rates. But this is a tailwind for precious metals as well. Having interest rates come down, the opportunity cost to own precious metals in a lower interest rate environment is not as high. So, it's going to depend on crude oil too, which is having a nice rebound. Take a look at USO here, the crude oil fund. Nice rebound. A little concerned with this bearish divergence in price in the RSI indicator here. But, Venus changing signs and going into the sign of Pisces on Sunday may cause a shift in the energy market. We are getting a little bit late in the primary cycle from this low in December. So something to keep in mind that the probability of a reversal is definitely there. Seeing some weakness in the US dollar the euro took out its high from the 22nd of February, which was the same day that Venus formed a conjunction to Mars. So, this was probably a half primary cycle low. It could be looking at a half primary cycle high, forming especially if and when, well, I should say especially when Venus changes signs, because the high that formed back here on the 28th of December occurred when Venus went into Sagittarius. So now we're going to have a square position with respect to Venus to Pisces, from that high on the 28th of December. So don't be surprised if we see another reversal in currencies, especially the euro. Take a look at the dollar against the yen, seeing some selling on this as well. And that's something that needs to be paid attention to, because if the dollar continues to sell off, it's going to be bullish for precious metals, going to be bullish for Bitcoin, going to be bullish for stocks. So if we want to see those markets pull back, the dollar does need to rebound. So that's something to keep an eye on over the next couple of weeks as well. So that's everything that I wanted to cover with you today. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me here at the Merriman Market Analyst YouTube channel. I encourage you to subscribe to this channel. We do have a couple of updates per week, and just for some brief announcements, we do have the monthly cycles report set to be published at the beginning of next week. That is MMA's flagship report, where we provide our updates on stocks, bonds, currencies, and commodities on a monthly basis. You can find that and all of our other reports and educational content at www.mmacycles.com. So that's all for now, everyone. Thank you for watching. We'll see you same time, same place next week, but with a very special guest. Very excited to have this individual join us. So stay tuned. I think you'll enjoy next week's video.